problem that keeps popping up again and again in Denver. People living in RVs, moving into neighborhoods, and creating a dangerous situation.
Today, Denver 7's Patrick Perez went into a southwest Denver neighborhood where homeowners are pleading with the city for help.
Denver is trying to tow away a housing crisis they created, and it's failing spectacularly. More than 4,000 people now live in vehicles, forced to move every 72 hours just to avoid losing the only shelter they have left. But what's really driving this disaster isn't homelessness, it's policy. And once you see it, you'll never unsee it. Denver's housing market didn't collapse overnight. It collapsed slowly, mathematically, and predictably, until more than 4,000 residents were forced to move into vehicles just to survive. The average one-bedroom apartment now costs $2,150, while the median worker earns just $22.30 an hour. After taxes, that's roughly $2,833 a month in take-home pay. Rent alone eats 76% of a worker's income, far beyond the federal affordability guideline of 30%. But the real choke point isn't just rent, it's Denver's rental requirements. Most landlords demand proof of income at 3 times the rent, meaning a tenant must show $6,450 per month, or nearly $78,000 per year, just to qualify for a basic one-bedroom. That alone eliminates more than half the city's workforce. When wages stall while rent rises 4 to 6% every single year, the middle class doesn't shrink, it evaporates. People don't leave the state. They don't disappear. They move into RVs, vans, and even sedans because it's the only option left. This is not a lifestyle trend. It's a structural failure. And Denver is now the warning sign for every major U.S. city. The most dangerous part of Denver's crisis isn't losing your home. It's how silently and predictably the system pushes you there. Consider working 40 hours a week at $22 per hour. On paper, that's $45,760 a year. After taxes, you're left with $2,833 per month. Now subtract Denver's average rent of $2,150. You have $683 left for the entire month before buying food, before childcare, before gas, insurance, medical bills, or emergencies. Add basic expenses, and the numbers become impossible. Car payment takes $250. Insurance takes $140. Gas takes $180. Phone service takes $70. Now you're left with $43, not for the week, but for the entire month. So people stretch, they skip meals, they delay medical care, they ignore the check engine light. And all it takes is one emergency, a $300 repair, a cut shift, a rent hike, and they fall behind. Once behind, landlords demand first month, last month security deposit, and proof of triple income.
The city of Denver ordering a property owner to immediately stop renting out trailers and RVs on his properties.
To move into another place, the average Denver renter now needs $6,000 to $9,000 up front. Most don't even have $400 saved, according to national averages. When you can't afford rent and can't qualify for a new lease, the only remaining housing option is your vehicle. This is how working-class families, not addicts, not drifters, become RV dwellers. In Denver, becoming homeless isn't the end. It's the beginning of a non-stop race you can never win. Denver's 72-hour parking ordinance is one of the most punishing laws for vehicle dwellers in the country. It requires anyone living in a car, RV, or van to move every 3 days, no matter the situation. If the vehicle stays longer than 72 hours, police can ticket, boot, or tow it. And the costs are brutal. Parking citations begin at $50. Second offenses cost $75 or more. Tows range from $800 to $1,500 depending on vehicle size. Storage fees grow daily until the vehicle is auctioned. For someone already on the edge, losing their vehicle isn't an inconvenience. It's the loss of shelter, transportation, employment access, and every possession they have. But the psychological toll is even worse. Because under this law, there is no stability.
More than a year, the city of Denver has been trying to find solutions to tackle the city's homelessness crisis. Part of its plan seems to be working.
Families must memorize street sweeping schedules, enforcement times, which neighborhoods will call police immediately, where bathrooms are open at 6 a.m., and which businesses allow restroom use without harassment. This is not camping. This is survival under legal pressure. And every time they move, they become harder for caseworkers to find, harder to help, and more likely to fall into chronic homelessness. Denver doesn't just fail to help people. It creates a system that mathematically guarantees they'll lose everything. Once someone enters Denver's vehicle-dwelling crisis, they fall into what advocates call the paper trap. It starts with a few $50 to $75 tickets, but those tickets stack quickly. Most vehicle dwellers cannot pay them, so fines turn into outstanding balances, which turn into warrants, which turn into registration holds. Without registration, you can't renew your license. Without a license, you can't legally drive to work. And without driving, you lose your job, which makes the fines impossible to pay. Eventually, one morning, flashing lights appear behind the RV. The tow truck hooks into your only shelter. Your clothing, your documents, your kids' school records, your tools, everything is inside. To recover it, you must pay $875 average to release the vehicle, daily storage fees, remaining tickets, and late penalties. Total cost often exceeds $1,200 to $2,000, impossible for someone who couldn't afford rent. Most never get their vehicle back. What Denver spent on that tow, about $1,200, is enough to fund 2 months of safe parking with case management, so the city is not saving money. It's spending more money to make the crisis worse. Every 3 days, vehicle dwellers in Denver must uproot their entire life. Children, belongings, food, work schedules, and relocate to another street. Not by choice, but by law. Denver has 0 legal safe parking areas, forcing over 4,000 vehicle dwellers to constantly circulate between Federal Boulevard, Brighton Boulevard, Platte River Trail, West Colfax, and industrial corridors of Lakewood and Englewood. Most cities with similar homelessness rates operate designated safe lots, but Denver chooses enforcement instead. This constant relocation destroys every piece of stability a person needs to climb back up. You can't establish residency. You can't receive mail. You can't list an address on job applications. You can't register your vehicle without an address. Without registration, you can't renew your license. Without a license, you can't legally work. And without work, you lose everything. It's a perfect circle, designed to keep people moving, not improving. This is not a housing policy. It's a mobility requirement that traps people in permanent crisis. Trying to rebuild your life while being forced to move every 72 hours makes stability itself feel illegal. Most cities with similar homelessness challenges operate designated safe lots with basic services, but Denver has chosen enforcement over solutions, creating a system that guarantees people remain trapped in crisis mode indefinitely. Denver says the RV crisis is too complicated to fix, yet other cities solved it years ago with simple, proven systems. While Denver continues pouring millions into sweeps and tows, cities like San Diego, Los Angeles, Seattle, and Eugene quietly built programs that actually reduce homelessness. San Diego's Safe Parking Program operates 6 dedicated lots with bathrooms, security, and caseworkers. 87% of participants are housed within 12 months at a cost of just $4,200 per person per year. That's cheaper than just one Denver sweep, which costs up to $35,000. Los Angeles Safe Park LA provides on-site healthcare, showers, laundry, mail access, and housing navigators. 85% of people remain housed 2 years later. Seattle's Master Lease program allows the city to lease entire buildings where residents pay 30% of income with no credit checks. This program produces 6 times higher housing stability after 2 years. These cities didn't reinvent the wheel. They simply treated vehicle homelessness as a housing problem, not a parking violation. Denver has the land. Denver has the nonprofits. Denver has the funding. But Denver lacks one thing: political will. If Denver redirected even 25% of its enforcement budget, it could open 10 safe parking lots tomorrow. Other cities chose compassion over optics. Denver chose optics, and now thousands pay the price. People think living in an RV is easy, but in a city with no infrastructure, even using the bathroom becomes a daily emergency. Denver has thousands of RV dwellers, but the city provides no support systems for basic survival. RV living is not just about parking, it's about water, sanitation, hygiene, and health. A typical RV has 30 gallons of fresh water, 30 gallons of gray water, and 40 gallons of black water. That lasts 5 to 7 days before tanks must be emptied. But Denver has no city dump stations, no legal water refill points, no overnight public restrooms, and no designated sanitation areas. Dump stations at campgrounds cost $15 to $25 per use, which is impossible for people who barely afford gas. Many are forced to drive 30 to 60 minutes outside the city just to dump waste, burning fuel they can't replace. This lack of infrastructure leads to skipped showers for days or weeks, hydration avoidance to reduce bathroom use, gray water illegally dumped into storm drains, and public health risks for the entire community. Meanwhile, Denver spent $14 million last year on encampment sweeps, money that could have built 10 safe parking lots, multiple sanitation hubs, 24-hour bathroom access, and water and dump stations across the city. Denver doesn't have a homelessness problem. It has an infrastructure denial problem. Denver's solution to homelessness isn't housing. It's a multi-million-dollar illusion that pushes people from one street to another. When Denver conducts a sweep, police arrive first. Public Works follows. Tow trucks wait behind them. Notices go up stating move within 72 hours. On sweep day, anything left behind, clothes, food, medication, is thrown into garbage trucks and compacted. Each sweep costs $8,000 to $35,000, depending on the area. In the last 18 months, Denver conducted 230 sweeps, a cost exceeding $14 million. And what does the city get for that money? 0 people housed, 0 people stabilized, 0 people connected to permanent services. Sweeps don't end homelessness. They erase visibility, not reality. Families don't disappear. They scatter 6 blocks east into Englewood, behind industrial parks, back to Federal Boulevard. And within a week, neighbors complain again, and the cycle repeats. The saddest part is that sweeps sever progress. If someone is finally working with a case manager, a sweep can disrupt everything. Kids miss school, job schedules get broken, medical appointments get lost. Denver isn't solving homelessness. It's paying millions to shuffle people like pieces on a board without ever ending the game. Sweeps create the illusion of action while guaranteeing the problem continues indefinitely. He worked 39 years, never missed a shift, owned his home outright, and now he sleeps in a 1987 camper with a failing heater. Robert is 66 years old, a retired diesel mechanic who spent nearly 4 decades working for the same trucking company in Commerce City. He did everything society tells you to do. Worked hard, saved responsibly, even paid off his mortgage 10 years early. His home in Globeville was modest, 2 bedrooms, but it was his. Then the neighborhood was rezoned for development. Property values skyrocketed, and his annual property taxes jumped from $2,000 to nearly $9,000 in just 3 years, a 350% increase he simply couldn't absorb on his fixed income. He sold the home he worked his entire life for, bought a used camper for $12,000, parked near the shop he dedicated 39 years to. Today, Robert bathes at a gym, uses a VA card for medical care, and moves every 72 hours to avoid tickets. He has no permanent address, even though he paid taxes for over 4 decades. He's been waiting 3 years for senior housing. Still no call. This is not a story about bad choices. This is a story about a system that punishes loyalty, longevity, and stability. Robert represents thousands of seniors priced out of homes they already owned, 2 full-time jobs, 2 kids in school, 0 addictions, 0 laziness, and still nowhere to live except a 22-foot travel trailer. Angela and Marco are both 34. They have 2 children, ages 7 and 9. Marco works construction framing. Angela works at King Soopers. Together, they earn roughly $56,000 a year. Solid middle-class income on paper. They rented a 3-bedroom apartment in Lakewood for $1,800, tight but possible, until the building sold. The new owners raised the rent to $2,400, a $600 increase overnight. They looked for another place, but every landlord demanded first month, last month, security deposit, and proof of income at 3 times rent. To qualify for a $2,400 apartment, they needed to show $7,200 per month income. Impossible. They also needed nearly $7,000 up front just to move in. They had 45 days. They couldn't make it work. So they bought a used 22-foot travel trailer for $8,500. They park it near their kids' school so the children's routine stays intact. Homework is done at a fold-down table. Showers happen at a rec center. Laundry gets done in a laundromat. And every 72 hours, they hook up their home and move again. Angela and Marco represent the new face of homelessness, working families who did everything right and still got priced out. She didn't lose her home because she was irresponsible. She lost it because her car broke down, and that was all it took. Shanice is 29, a single mother. Her daughter Maya just turned 6. She worked as a home health aide for $12 an hour, barely enough but still surviving. Then her car's transmission failed. The repair quote was $3,000. She didn't have $3,000. She didn't have $300. Without transportation, she missed 3 client visits. Her employer fired her. Rent fell behind. Eviction followed immediately. For the next 2 months, she and her daughter lived in a Honda Civic. There wasn't room to stretch, lay down, or stay warm without burning fuel. Maya missed school because Shanice couldn't drive her consistently. Their lives changed only because a nonprofit offered a safe parking pilot, 20 spaces, a security guard, 2 porta potties, and a case manager. In 2 weeks, the case manager helped her get replacement documents she lost during the eviction. In 1 month, she had a new job accessible by bus. In 90 days, she entered transitional housing. Today, 14 months later, she has a lease, a home, and a career path. The difference between falling and rising wasn't luck or work ethic. It was access. Access to a program Denver still refuses to build at scale. Denver keeps saying the crisis is impossible to fix, even though other cities already solved it with programs that cost less than sweeps. The answers exist. The data is clear. Cities across the U.S. have implemented programs that dramatically reduce vehicle homelessness, programs Denver could copy tomorrow. San Diego's Safe Parking program operates 6 citywide lots with bathrooms, security, and caseworkers. 87% achieve housing placement within 12 months at a cost of just $4,200 per person. Safe Park LA provides showers, laundry, legal aid, and healthcare with on-site housing navigators. 85% remain housed after 2 years. The program focuses on document recovery, benefits, and job placement. Seattle's Master Lease program allows the city to lease entire buildings where tenants pay 30% of income with no credit checks required. This produces 6 times higher long-term housing stability and can house families within weeks. These programs prove a simple truth. Homelessness is not a mystery. It is a solvable logistical problem. Denver has land, millions of square feet of underused industrial space.
From a number of people complaining about RVs parked on their streets for weeks. And as Liz Gilardi reports, the issue is a lot more widespread than first thought.
Denver has funding, having spent $14 million on sweeps last year. Denver has nonprofits ready to operate programs. What Denver lacks is the political will to shift from enforcement to housing. The roadmap exists. The models exist. The success data exists. Denver just hasn't chosen the solution. Denver isn't failing by accident. It's failing by design. These policies don't just ignore homelessness. They manufacture it. Denver's RV homelessness crisis is not the result of individual mistakes. It is the result of policy decisions that make escaping homelessness nearly impossible. The 72-hour rule forces constant movement even for families trying to stabilize. It punishes people not for criminal behavior, but for existing. Every relocation disrupts jobs, school attendance, healthcare access, and case management. It ensures that people remain in survival mode rather than recovery mode. Zoning laws also block progress. Denver's code makes it nearly impossible to legally operate safe parking lots in commercial or industrial zones, even though tens of thousands of square feet sit unused every night. This pushes people into residential areas, guaranteeing complaints and more sweeps. Basic public infrastructure is non-existent. No legal dump stations, no water refill sites, no overnight bathrooms, no trash service. Worst of all, Denver's 5-year housing strategy doesn't even mention vehicle homelessness specifically. It treats RV residents as invisible, which means no targeted resources, no dedicated programs, and no strategic plan. These policies don't just fail to help people, they reinforce the crisis. When the rules are designed to make stability impossible, homelessness becomes a cycle, not an event. Every day, Denver delays action. Another family is pushed out of housing and into a vehicle they can barely keep. Denver's vehicle homelessness crisis is a predictable outcome of rapid growth without equitable policies. Rents rose faster than wages. Property taxes crushed fixed-income seniors. Development replaced affordability. Enforcement replaced services. But the future is not predetermined. Denver now stands at a crossroads with two clear paths. Path 1 means continuing the current system. Spend millions on sweeps. Criminalize parking instead of supporting people. Push families into deeper crisis. Lose vehicles, jobs, IDs, and stability. Watch homelessness increase every year. This path is expensive, cruel, and ineffective. Path 2 means choosing proven housing solutions. Safe parking lots with case managers. Vehicle triage centers with showers, laundry, and mail access. Master lease programs to house families quickly. Zoning changes allowing legal overnight parking. Public infrastructure including water, bathrooms, and dump stations. These programs already exist in other cities and consistently reduce homelessness at a fraction of the cost of enforcement. Denver has the resources. Denver has the land. Denver has nonprofit partners ready to act. What Denver must choose is direction, status quo, or transformation. The city's future depends on whether leaders finally acknowledge that this is not a parking problem. It's a housing crisis requiring housing solutions. If you think Denver's RV homelessness crisis is a local issue, think again. It is a preview of America's future if nothing changes. Denver is not an outlier. It is a warning. Across the US, rents have risen 31% since 2020, while wages have risen only 9%. Colorado is simply one of the first places where these pressures hit a breaking point. What's happening in Denver? Families living in RVs, seniors priced out of homes they own, working-class people forced into cars, is beginning to appear in Phoenix, Austin, Seattle, Portland, Salt Lake City, Nashville, Tampa, Las Vegas, and dozens more. The RV homelessness crisis is a housing affordability crisis, a wage stagnation crisis, a zoning crisis, and a policy crisis rolled into one. Denver shows what happens when a city grows without building enough housing, without stabilizing rent. 4,000 people are sleeping in vehicles tonight, not because Denver can't help them, but because the city hasn't chosen to. The final truth of Denver's RV homelessness crisis is simple. It is solvable. The solutions exist, the models exist, the data exists. What's missing is pressure. Pressure from residents, voters, taxpayers, and people who refuse to accept the status quo. Denver wastes $14 million a year on sweeps that house no one. Safe parking lots cost a fraction of that. Vehicle triage centers cost less than a single large encampment sweep. Master lease programs house families within weeks instead of traumatizing them for years. Demand that taxpayer money be spent on solutions, not optics. Silence protects the system. Awareness disrupts it. Action transforms it. The RV homelessness crisis in Denver is real. It's growing, and it is absolutely preventable. Ending it starts with shining a light and refusing to look away. The choice to act belongs to every resident who believes housing is a human right, not a luxury reserved for those who can afford impossible math. Denver's RV homelessness crisis isn't a tragedy. It's a choice the city makes every single day. What solution do you think Denver should adopt first? Drop a comment below. And don't miss our next video. We're breaking down the top US states already being transformed by RV homelessness in 2025. See you there.